Oscar Wilde once said, "To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people just exist, and that is all." Today we are reflecting on the life of Kristen Stearns. Kristen loved life. I have known her my entire life, and we are just like sisters. I can say with truth and honesty that Kristen lived life and did not just exist. We are gathered here to celebrate the life of Kristen just as I know she would want us to. Kristen loved to smile, was fun-loving, and genuinely cared about everyone she met. As we celebrate the life and legacy she left behind, I want to share some laughs and stories with all of you on how she was fun-loving, compassionate, and an all-around happy person. You could always see Kristen with a smile on her face. She always said if someone needed to smile, she'd be their clown. Her junior year of high school, she slipped on some water her friend had spilt and ended up sliding down the busiest hallway of the school during passing time. Everyone stopped what they were doing and laughed and pointed at her. Instead of getting upset, she laughed with them. Kristen carried this carefree, laugh-it-off attitude wherever she went, even at work. She really didn't care too much about what people thought, and if she could brighten someone's day, she would. Her boss would always tell her the only reason customers came back was because Kristen treated them too well. Kristen's best friend Monica always said that she was the one that she would turn to when she needed a smile. And this was no different with her other friends. They could always count on her to get the room laughing, said good friend Hunter Hanthorne. She could always get a classroom cracking up by yelling things absent-mindedly down the hall while she was passing out papers. It was that attitude that made her so lovable. Kristen had a beautiful smile and a laugh that was contagious. She had a wonderful heart that ached at the sight of someone hurting, and she was always the reason why someone had a better day and showed people that they could be loved, even if they didn't think it was possible. Kristen could be seen wearing a smile when she was out doing the things she loved. Kristen loved to go out with her friends, try new things, and most importantly, she loved to show love. Kristen was never one to be lazy and always wanted to be out living life to the fullest. She never let fear stop her and loved new adventures. Kristen would always talk about the time she was rock climbing and got stuck at the top of the mountain and couldn't find her way down. It took about 5 hours to get down the mountain, but she loved the challenge of it. Kristen loved new adventures, and she loved the chance to grow and learn something new. Kristen never let something stop her, even if it was her own fears. She wanted to live life to the fullest, and because of her wanderlust personality, she certainly did. Janine, Kristen's mom, would always say that she always would get into trouble, and it was because of her excitement about new things, especially when Kristen was 2 and discovered driving. She couldn't reach the pedals, and she couldn't see over the dashboard, but Kristen didn't care. She was only 2 but ready to set forth and travel the world. Kristen overcame every obstacle that she was confronted with because of her fun-loving principle. Kristen never wanted a dull moment in her life and certainly succeeded. She could have been watching TV and she could have found the adventure in it. She was the life of the party and everybody wanted to be with her. Kristen was a fun-loving, caring person, and she could always have fun no matter what the circumstance. She always looked for the positives in every situation, even if there were slim to none to be found. Kristen always had a big heart towards anything and anyone. She always wanted to help. Kristen showed she cared for people by developing strong relationships. She nannied over the summer, and she developed a very strong relationship with the children she watched after. She would bring them Christmas gifts, just to show them she really did love and care about them. Kristen would build strong relationships with her customers at Mocha Moment that would go far beyond the walls and would expand into lifelong friendships. Kristen could always tell when someone was in trouble or needed help. She was very sensitive to other people's feelings and would be the first one to jump up and help someone in need. When Kristen helped people, she never wanted or expected anything in return, which was something rare and beautiful. Kristen lived life to the fullest and didn't just exist because of the 3 golden rules that she lived by. She didn't have fear of death and looked at death as the next great adventure. She was curious about things, especially curious about things she couldn't see. and I know her curious appetite is being curbed with the knowledge of what is after life. When you think back on Kristen's life, when you think back on anybody's life for that matter, would you rather think that they had lived or just existed? Because Kristen certainly lived.